Okay, take a look on this code. It looks very simple, right? We have a character A, this guy, and we send a message to it as uppercase. Great. What do you think will happen? Okay, we're not really sure, but why don't we try? Take a look, it is working. So it gives us another character, which pretty much same like our receiver, but capitalized. So basically, if you read the message carefully, it's actually saying, hey receiver, we want to see you in uppercase. So in result of this message was capitalized receiver. That's great. Now, well, we have created objects on the workspace, send different messages to it. Well, it seems to work all great, but how do we really know what messages can we send to our objects? So, well, I come up with something that seems to work, but what? Do we have to remember them all or what? Well, that's a very good question. Well, let me explain a little bit what is going on behind the scene once we send a message to an object. Well, we have this guy here, right, who is a receiver of our message. So we send this message. So this is who? Instance of character, right? And we send message to an instance of class character. Okay, now, and this guy managed to respond to this message somehow, to do the job. But somewhere should be a code, a program, a small program which will actually do all these actions for us. Yes, and definitely there is this code, and this code located in the class. Remember class? Class, it is a special kind of objects, kind of creator of another object. So we're saying classes do create instances. Instances and classes, they're both objects. But to separate them, we will call sometimes class, it is a class, and instance is instance. It's an object generated by class. Okay? Now, if we want to see what messages our object is capable to respond to, we have to go to the class and see all this. Well, one of the way of doing this, from inspector, we can click menu and say browse class. So we're inspecting our guy. It is an instance of class character. That's great, but we want to see class itself. Okay, I click here. Look, we have a new browser. 2 panels on top, 1 big panel on the bottom. Okay, and let's talk about these panels. Top left panel. It shows categories. Categories is a very simple thing. Category is actually like a folder to hold methods. When I click on that category, I can see method which is implemented inside and sitting inside of this category. Well, if I select all the categories, I can see all the methods implemented in this class. Take a look. Class character, yes. And this class has many methods for instances of this class. So our object happened to be an instance of this class. So, and see here, we can see many methods which implemented for instances of class character. So my guess would be as uppercase should be somewhere here. Why don't we scroll? Take a look. As uppercase. There is a piece of code with this name which we call method, which is sitting inside of the class character, which respond to message as uppercase. So when we send message to our object jump in the class and start search for a method with exactly the same name. So we send message as uppercase, our object will be looking for a method with name as uppercase. And pay attention to lower and capital case. So Smalltalk is a case sensitive language. Okay, here's a method. Why don't we take a look? I click on it and I can see implementation of this method. So this is a method name, this is explanations, comment, what that method does, and here's implementation of this method. Simple enough. Small piece of code with this name which respond to our message. Now, if we want to understand what that method does, it's a good idea to read comment. And in comment, there are two important words. This one, answer, and receiver. Well, once we understand what it's all about, all these comments become very helpful. So, take a look. Answer a character. Think about this. This is a method. This is a piece of code. And remember, we were saying when we send a message, we always get an answer. We always getting something back. Take a look. Right here, the developer of this method telling us that the method will return a character object. Well, thank you very much. What else? What is the uppercase letter corresponding to receiver? And who is the receiver? Remember, receiver, it is an object who received a message. Well, in our case, we send message to this guy. So this is our receiver. All right. Now, if receiver is not a low-case letter, answer receiver itself. Okay, make perfect sense. So we are getting a character. Look, a character, which should be capitalized. If it's already capital character, so it will return itself. And that's how it works. So we don't really worry about implementation at the moment. But what is important to understand this machinery. So we send a message, object jump into its own class, and search for a method with exactly the same name. All right. Now that's great. It is working. Now, well, if method as uppercase do exist, probably as lowercase method should be implemented, right? So why don't we test? We create a new object, which is still a character. Yeah, character object, which is capitalized. And now I send message as lowercase to this guy. And what do I expect? Well, probably it's another character which is not a capital A in a lowercase. Why don't we try? I highlight all this and click execute. And now I'm getting a, well, scary window. Take a look. Debugger. Something went wrong. There is a problem. And in this window, well, a lot of very useful information. But what we're concerned about for now, this first line. Let's read this. Character does not understand as lowercase. What character? This guy. We send message to our character object. What message we send? As lowercase. Yeah, and our object telling us, sorry, I don't have a method with such a name. So it doesn't work for me. I cannot find the method to respond to this message. Remember we were saying? So it's looking for a method with exactly the same name. And if method is not found, it generates this kind of error. So it does not understand as a message name. Okay, great. I will close this for now. So this is our class. And I'm looking for a method as lowercase. And when I scroll, take a look. There is a method, but name is slightly different, as lowercase. And this return a character with a lowercase. So, okay, so if we do something like this, that should work. Let's try. Oh, we need to display the result. Yeah, no error messages, so we're getting exactly what we wanted. So do you understand the difference? I misspell the message and I'm getting an error message telling, well, that the method with such a name do not exist. We don't understand this message. Okay, great. And take a look. There are many useful methods implemented on the instance side of class character. What does it mean? Well, it means I can send any of those messages to my object, that guy, and they all should work. For example, let's take this guy. All right, so there is a character object, and I send message is character. So we're basically asking, are you a character or not? And take a look. Explanation is very simple. Answer true if the receiver is a character. And of course, receiver is a character, so we get in true from this. Well, what I'm saying right now is a little bit simplified picture, what is really happening. Because, well, in reality, there's a tree hierarchy of classes, and we'll be talking about this later on. For now, while we assume there is only one class and we, well, investigate this. Okay, now if we execute this and display the result, yes, we are getting true from this message. Okay, what another we can try? As symbol. I want to send this message to our object. But before I do that, let's read the comment and try to assume what is going to happen. Answer the symbol. Okay, so when we send this message, what do we expect back? What kind of object do we expect back from this message? Well, according to this, we should get a symbol object. Oh, okay, which is corresponds to the receiver. And in our receiver is this guy. Well, corresponds to the receiver. Okay, well, we have an idea, but if we read carefully, as symbol, the message itself actually gives us a lot of information. So we are talking to an object and say, hey object, we want you as something else, as symbol to be specific. So we need you as symbol. Okay, why don't we see? Well, we're getting A, and this dash mark, what is that? If we inspect it, oh, this is a symbol object. Oh, that's great. That's exactly what comment said. So its answer is symbol, which corresponds to the receiver. Makes sense. How about this one? Answer the string. Answer the string. So we should get a string from this message, which corresponds to the receiver. Okay, why don't we try to send this message? Okay, so I send message as string to character A, and we should get what? String. Let's see. Yeah, if we inspect this guy, it is a string which contains one character only, but it is a string object, right? You can see string. This is a way how we can easily convert one kind of objects to another as something else. And there is many methods which actually do this conversion for us. I want to clarify the difference between message and method. Message, this is what we send to the object. Here it is. This is a message, what we send to our object. We always send messages. And method, it is a piece of code which is sitting inside of the class with exactly the same name which respond to the message. Remember, this guy received a message, it's looking for a method with exactly the same name. And if this method found, it's executed and return the result. Okay? So don't be confused. We send a message and method do all the job and respond to the message. Take a look on this method, is lowercase. So how can we test this code? Well, probably send message is lowercase to our object, right? But see, is, it's like a testing, right? So are you in lowercase or uppercase? So what do you think that method should return? Well, let's see. Answer true. Okay, so this method will return a Boolean object, right? True or false. If the receiver is a lowercase letter, answer false, otherwise. Okay, good. Now, our guy, our receiver, so they're talking about receiver, right? So this guy. So actually, in our case, it will be capital A, character capital A. So if we send this message to our object, what do you think we shall get? Well, if we read this again, it should answer true if receiver is a lowercase letter. Well, our guy is uppercase. Answer false otherwise. Well, let's see. False. And that's exactly right. So we're asking, are you lowercase? No, I'm not. So we're getting false from this method. And as you can see, all these methods are really small. Well, just a few lines, sometimes just one line, right? And they do all this job. Again, we have a method name, comment, and implementation. Great. Now, why don't we try this one? Is uppercase. Okay. So we're talking to the same guy, but we send a different message. So different message will invoke different method. So that method will be executed. And that method answer true, again Boolean, if receiver is an uppercase. So our guy is an uppercase, right? It should return true, false otherwise. Okay. Yep, we get a true object from this message. And I get an inspector because I clicked on inspect button. So we execute the code and open a new inspector on the result. Excellent. Now let me change it a little bit. And let me ask you, well, is it any different or not? Well, and the answer is yes, it is. And I should say very different. Why? We send the same message, yes, but we send it to completely different object, different kind of object. Who is this guy? Let's inspect it. Well, it is a string. So now we send message is uppercase to the string. Do you think it will work? Well, it is a good question. Why don't we try to execute it? Take a look. String does not understand is uppercase. So we send message is uppercase to string object. And what is happening, our receiver, this guy, jump in its own class, which happen to be a string. And this guy search for method is uppercase in there, but unfortunately there is none. And as a result, we are getting a message, well, it is a problem. So string, our receiver, it is an instance of class string, does not understand is uppercase message. Well, too bad. But the question is, what string will understand? So let's say we know nothing about it, and we want to see what kind of messages can we send to the string. Well, it's very easy. What do? We have to open and browse class string. And let me show you another way of doing it. Of course, we can open inspector and go browse class. That's probably will be the easiest way. But the different way is this. Browse class. What class? String. And take a look. Class name starts with a capital letter, right? Okay. So we get exactly the same window, class browser, and we can see, but we watch different class now. It's a string class. Take a look. String. Okay, categories. I choose all the categories, and you can see a lot of methods. Okay, and we start to browse them, trying to find something. Oh, okay, take a look. As symbol. It's sort of conversion, right? Conversion method. So we have a string, we send to this string, we want you as something else. So what do you think this method will return? Take a look. Answer what? A symbol, a representation of receiver. Why don't we try? Okay, so receiver is a string A, so we send message as symbol. All right, and we're getting a nil. That's interesting. Okay, that's better. So we're getting a new object, an instance of class symbol, which actually what corresponded to our receiver. Okay, so no error messages, right? So this guy seems to work just fine. Now more interesting one, includes. Okay, includes column. Column is it? What kind of keyword messages, right? Okay, great. Let's open it. Take a look. There is a method includes column which is implemented for instances of class string. Great. So we have string here. Let's create another string. Hello. Okay, great. Now we want to send this message. Includes. Okay. Well, but method includes expecting a parameter, right? So we have to pass something along with this message, right? Let's read the comment. Answer a Boolean which is true if an object, this guy, parameter, is equivalent to one of the receiver's elements and false otherwise. Well, okay. What is string? String is a collection of characters, right? And we can ask string, hey string, do you have that particular character or no? For example, if I want to pass, let's say, character object, I have to do something like this, right? Character E. Okay, this is the way how we create characters, right? So if I inspect this guy, yes, character E, great. Now take a look on this line. So we're saying, hey, string hello, which is the receiver of our message, right? We send message includes column to you, and we pass this guy as a parameter. So basically we are asking you, do you have character E in you? And if yes, you should return what? Boolean, right? You should return true. If you don't have any, so you should return false. Okay, let's try. Okay, so no error message. Everything works great. So we ask our receiver, do you have character E? And answer is true, because yes, there is one right here. Okay, makes sense. So why don't we try this? Hey, string hello, do you include this guy? False. Makes perfect sense. Thank you very much. Very useful method. Take a look. I have found another interesting method which is implemented for instances of class string. So we have string hello here, and we can send message comma, just comma. Okay, let's take a look on this. Okay, comma a collection. See, this is a binary message because it's taken a parameter. And what does it do? Answer a copy of receiver with each element of argument or collection. Add it to order. Fail if collection is not a collection. Well, sounds complicated. In reality, very simple. So we're saying hello, and we pass, for example, another string. Remember, string, it is a collection of characters after all. How do we understand this? There is an object to whom we send message. What message do we send? This one. And what do we pass as a parameter? Another string. Let's take a look on result. So we're getting one string which contains a receiver and a parameter. This is a way to concatenate strings. So hello friends is one string as a result of our execution. So as you can see, class library, it's a huge repository of code. So if you need some functionality, first of all, make sure that functionality not implemented in the class already, in appropriate class. So as a Smalltalk developer, as object-oriented developer, often we search for right functionality implemented in the class hierarchy. And you will be surprised how much code which you have to implement already is there, sitting and waiting for you to reuse. So please do investigate it first before you start to write anything on your own. Okay, take a look at this. What do you think about this? Who is this guy? Well, symbol object. Great. Now, what do we send to it? As string. So basically, we want to convert our receiver to string. Will this work? Let's see. Absolutely. We're getting string show back. And it is a string. Great. Well, how about this one? Who is the receiver here? Float object. Yeah. And what do we send? As integer. So we convert uReceiver as integer. Let's see. 126. Excellent. Do you think that there is a method as integer somewhere in hierarchy of class float? Must be. Otherwise we would get an error message. Great. Take a look at this. So we have a long string, right? So this guy. Is this a string? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, string. Okay. And what message do we send to it? Substrings. So basically we want to split this string to several different strings. Let's see. I want to execute it and open an inspector on it. Yeah, no error message, right? So we're getting execution array. So what are we getting back? Array object. Array, it is a collection of different objects. And how many do we have? So we have 6 boxes inside of this array. And take a look, each box has one word. So that's how easy we can split a string. Okay, great. Yeah, take a look. String looks like string, but it's a double quotation marks. It's actually nothing for Smalltalk. Smalltalk simply ignore it. This is a way how we create comments. Take a look on these 4 objects. And what do you think? Is there any difference here? Absolutely. A lot of big difference. So the first guy is what? Small integer. Okay. So this guy is string. This guy is character. And the last one is undefined object. Nothing for Smalltalk. Nil. Okay. So, and you understand, right? It's a different object, and they do understand completely different messages. And of course, because from small integer you want one kind of job, from string completely different job. So it's important to see clear difference between different kind of objects. Okay, take a look on this string. What is happening here? How many objects do we see? I can see 2. So this guy, which is actually represent this system transcript window, and this string hello world. So, and what message do we send to transcript? Show column. What kind of message is that? Keyword message, right? And what that will do? Let's see. Take a look. And show hello world on the system transcript. Perfect. And by the way, I don't really care what this message return, because I kind of ignore the return, because what I do care about how my string will appear on the system transcript, and this is why I just execute it without displaying or inspecting it. I'm just, yeah, it definitely returns something, but we are not really interested. So sometimes you just give up on all objects what you're getting back from the message. Now take a look on this piece of code. Transcript show what? 25. Looks very innocent, isn't it? So we're talking to transcript, hey, we want to show what? This number. So why don't we try to execute it? Look, we get an error message. Why? Previous line works just fine, but now we're getting an error message. Well, that's a good question. Why don't we investigate it? To understand why problem happened. So first of all, we have to find method show column and see comments on it. How can we find it? So we send this message to transcript. So why don't we open an inspector on this guy? Okay, so this is our window, right? So it is an instance of what class? STS transcript. Okay, doesn't really mean much, but we can open a class. We browse the class. Great. Now we are looking for a method. What method we are looking for? We are looking for a method show column. Take a look. We have this class, STS transcript. We have one category, but we don't see any methods here. We check public methods, we check private methods, what we're actually not supposed to be using. Nothing. What does it mean? Well, we know method show column is working. Remember, just a minute ago, to generate this, we send the message show column with a string as a parameter and everything works fine. But where is this method? We don't really see it. But the truth is, like every time when we send a message to an object, it's looking for a method and its own class. And if that method is not found, it's go up in the hierarchy to the superclass and search there. If none, another level up, and all the way up to the root object. And if there is no method with such name, with exact name in there, so it generates an error message then. So basically, we don't see method show column implemented in that particular class, but it must be somewhere in hierarchy path to the root. So, but how can we see it? Well, it's actually very easy here. Right click and change visibility. See, we have several options here. So right now, checked no inheritance means show me methods, only methods implemented in this class only. Right, but we can say we want to see what? To root class, all the way to the root to show all the methods. And root is a class object. To root -1 or to some specific class. To name class. Why don't we try this? And look, this is our hierarchy upside down. So we inside of this class right now. His superclass is this, and one more, and finally object. Well, I can say I want to see all the methods implemented from STS transcript to ET window class. Okay, so we have much more methods here. Okay, great. Now I do right click, find, show column, lowercase, right? Take a look. We found method show column implemented in ET workspace class. Excellent. Now this is actually a method which does all this job. And take a look. Method show column taking a parameter. And parameter what? Must be a string. See, they call it a string. They're saying, so we expect a string as a parameter. Then this method will work. Let's read the comment. Append contents of a string. So append this string to the receiver. And who is the receiver? Our transcript, our window. So basically, first line saying, so we take this guy, which is string, which must be string, and put it inside of the system transcript. This can be safe execution from non-UI processes. It's okay. So again, so we must pass string as a parameter. Then it should work. So we pass what? We passed small integer. Yeah, small integer. And this is why we get an error message. Okay. So how can we fix it? Can we do something like this? Transcript, show, and we pass this as a parameter, right? So string 25. Do you think this will work? Well, let's try. Yeah, take a look. 25 right here. Well, that's better than before, but that's probably not what we want. So what if we want to show on the system transcript result of execution 5 factorial? So we want to really make the calculation and then show the result on the system transcript. By the way, do you think that will work? Well, again, we send message to system transcript. What message? Show column. And what do we pass as a parameter? Result of this. And the result of this is what? Transcript. Oh, I clicked the wrong button, so we need debugger here. Yeah. Result of this 5 factorial is a small integer 120. So basically here, again, we pass 120 as a parameter. So do you think method show column will be happy with it? I doubt, because look, here they're saying I need a string. Well, we'll try anyway. Well, error message, debugger, doesn't work. Okay, well, at least we understand why it doesn't work. So can I make a quick fix and do something like this? What do you think? Well, it will work because we pass string as a parameter. But look, I'll erase this, and now I execute this. It shows on the system transcript string 5 factorial, but that's not what I want. I want the result of execution to be shown on the system transcript. So what do we take a look? What do we do here? We send message show column to transcript. And what do we pass as a parameter? So we execute 5 factorial, which gives us 120, right? Okay, and then we send another message to this 120 to convert it to string. By the way, will this work? Why don't we try? We inspect it. What do we get? String. Yes, great. And what is this? 120. Excellent. That's exactly what we wanted, right? So we do 5 factorial first. We are getting 120, and then with the help of this message, additional message, we convert it to string. So, and that string can be easily shown on the system transcript. Well, let's try. Look, 120 right here. Well, seems to work just fine. The question is, well, something in this method I don't really like. Can we simplify it? Can we make it nicer? Well, take a look on this one. Do you think this will work? So what do we have here? So transcript again. We're talking to transcript. We send message show column. And what do we pass as a parameter? This. 5 factorial print string. And this is what we call combining messages, right? So first will be executed this, which gives us small integer 120, and then print string will be sent to 120. So result should be exactly what we want. Look, 120. Now let's play with this a little bit and put this. Do you think that will change anything? Well, let's think about this. So this part unchanged, right? We're talking to transcript, we send message show column. Now what do we do here? We execute 5 factorial. We send factorial to 5, and that will give us what? 120. Excellent. Yep, that's what we wanted. And then we send message print string. But the question is, to whom do we send message print string to? Well, since we put this in place, it is a cascading messages right now. Remember when you can send a bunch of messages to the same guy? That's what is happening right now. So this will be executed and give us 120. But since we don't use it and we don't store it anywhere, it will disappear. This will be destroyed automatically for us. So we will get this number and lost it right away. And that print string, it is another message to 5, right? So because of this. So, and how does it work? If we have 5 and we send print string to it, that should give us what? String 5. Okay, great. So what do you think will happen then? Okay, Let's try. I will clean workspace and I will execute this. Oops, item not valid. Interesting. And why do you think that happened? Take a look carefully on this. Yeah, our logic was correct, but transcript show this will generate 120, and that message show will be sent to transcript with 120 as a parameter. But that's not what we wanted. That's what we had before, right? So we had this problem before. So if we want to play with this as we thought, that's what we need here. So we're saying, okay, 5 factorial, semicolon. That's become kind of factorial. Well, we just executed, right, and lost it right away. Kind of useless. But anyway, so we just playing with this. So, and then we send print string to 5, and that should work. Look. Yeah, we're getting 5 on the system transcript. Not exactly what we wanted. But, well, since we put this, yes, that's how we change our execution logic. Take a look on small program here in our workspace. 3 lines of code. So basically, what? Transcript CR, carriage return. Go to the next line. Dot. Excellent. Transcript show this. Value двоеточие. Semicolon. Great. And transcript show this. Now, if we execute all this, I selected all 3 lines carefully, and now I execute it. Look. Okay. So first line, skip to the next line. Second line, show this on the system transcript. Here it is. And third line, show 7. Okay, seems to work pretty nice. By the way, pay attention to dots, right? So like every statement in Smalltalk you separate. So like you said, okay, transcript CR dot. And after dot, another receiver should be specified. So transcript show, we send another message to transcript and pass another parameter. So everything works pretty nice. Question, how can we simplify it? Take a look. Does it look better? Transcript CR, one statement. We skip to next line. And then transcript show what? Result of this. And the result of this will be what? String, what we actually need to show on the system transcript. This one. Oh, okay. That's much better, right? 1 line less and looks better. Can we do even better? Take a look. Even better. Now we are saying transcript just once, and we want to send several messages to it. What? We want to go to the next line, CR, and pay attention. Semicolon. So we're actually saying next message will be to transcript again. So we send message show column to transcript because of this. So, and we want to show 1 string and then show 2nd string. So let's try to execute it. Oops. Sorry, my selection wasn't good, so let's do it again. I select all this. Okay, it is working. Yep. So it's advance the line and print value column 7. All right, looks much better. Now we specify transcript 1, and then we send 3 messages to transcript, one after another. Okay, great. Can we do even better? Take a look. Transcript, CR. We go to the next line and then show, well, and we put this all together as 1 string. So show value 7. Yeah, should produce exactly the same result on the system transcript. Yeah, absolutely. And again, how do we call these kind of messages? When we send several messages to the same guy. So we call it cascading, right? And how can we create a cascade? So we put semicolon between messages. So and now show is sending to transcript, but not the result of this previous message. Okay, great.